Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Diane Pasquale. First of all, I just want to say thank you. If you watched the video before this on how to sell your artwork on RedBubble, I go into depth about how to set up your online shop. And if you found me through the RedBubble blog, thank you for some of you who had commented. I had some really good feedback on there. So from there, I decided to create this video. So this video, I'm gonna show you how to brand your work online, how to create a consistent style and theme. So let's go ahead and dive right in. We're gonna talk about how to brand your work on RedBubble. So essentially, your brand is you. So I invite you to ask yourself a few questions before you create work and to really think about what makes you unique. Here is an anatomy of a brand. So we're going to go over brand strategy. We're also going to go over brand story. I do want to ask you, what are some of your core values as an artist or as a brand? So this is going to make it easier to create a body of work because you're going to look towards what inspires you, what kind of art brings you joy when you create it. I want you to think about some of these questions when you're coming up with creating work. The goal of your brand is to make it easier for your customer to remember you and to make that memory a positive one. What is a brand? This is the definition of a brand. It is the sum of everything that represents a product, whether that is a person, a company, a logo, the name, the reputation, the workforce. So you think about great brands out there, the big ones like Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola. You think about what they're branding themselves as. A brand is the spirit of a company, person, or a product. So let's take, for example, the Gypsy Goddess. So this is a brand that I've built for myself in the last 2 years, and actually, before I came up with this name, the Gypsy Goddess, it was like maybe, say like 6 months ago that I wanted to name myself the Gypsy Goddess, but I had been creating work since January of 2016. The Gypsy Goddess is a name I gave myself from my experiences wanderlusting the last 8 years in different cities, to San Francisco, New York, Los Angeles, and then back again to San Francisco. I'm a San Diego native, and so I grew up in the 90s around skaters and surfers in a time of grunge, rock, hip hop. I gravitated towards the skate and surf subcultures. My days were spent at the beach. I love wearing tie-dye shirts. My brand has evolved into some of these categories coupled with a boho hippie vibe with a modern feel. And I really love some of the festival fashion that people are wearing these days when they go to Coachella or Burning Man. So those are some of the things that inspire me. So a brand story. Let's examine this. So a brand that moves people with an intriguing story. Like I told you what my brand story was. So essentially, that is my brand story, the Gypsy Goddess. So I also want you to think about your experiences, your story, what you're inspired by, and what makes you unique. Let's take, for example, the Lady Gaga brand. I really love her brand. So her niche market are gay consumers. Gay consumers are the largest disposable income, and her message, this essentially appeals to everybody, that it's okay to be different. People should be themselves no matter what they look like. And this appeals to gay consumers and everybody. So brand strategy. What is a brand strategy? Why do I need one? I'm an artist. And I'll tell you why you need a brand strategy. So you need a strategic plan that recognizes market trends and responds to consumer activity to get ahead. So what does this mean? You gotta do some research. Research your target audience. Figure out what kind of art they gravitate toward. What do they like? How are you gonna connect with that audience? So if you're creating cutesy characters, would that appeal to adults? Probably to children, or maybe teenagers from 12 to 18. Who knows? But researching your target audience is a good way. To have a brand strategy, the first thing you need to do is define the big picture. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What do you want to create? And you also want to create a powerful tagline, something that's catchy, something that stands out, something that people can remember. And then you also want to have a unique selling proposition. a USP. What does that mean? It means what is the unique thing about your product or your artwork that you're selling that nobody else is doing. So just remember that coming up with ideas can take time to incubate and to realize. When I really started to get serious about branding a body of my work, it was early January 2016. That's when I really started getting serious. I went on a trip to Vancouver just to kind of clear my head. Before that, towards the end of 2015, I was freelancing design and illustration with a bunch of clients, and it just really burnt me out. I needed time to kind of just decompress and just do my own thing. And so this is what I discovered, that I had the capacity to create like a new body of work. And if you probably Google my name online, there's a bunch of illustration work out there. For a while I was doing that and I just got super burnt out. And I feel like now I'm in a place where I'm creating work that inspires me. So just to give you an idea, when you're researching reference images online, whether they're through Pinterest boards, I suggest making some Pinterest boards to kind of like organize your ideas, and also just, you know, for inspiration as well. See what other people are doing, and that's like doing research. For example, here, so a next collection I'm working on is Dreamy Summer. So here are all the different like colors, patterns, images that inspire me. Am I going to copy this exactly? No, but I do love some of the colors, so I'll probably take some of these images and color sample some of these images, which I tend to do a lot. I've also created a Dropbox folder of tie-dye references. You know, there's a Dropbox app that you can download for your mobile device. And so typically when I have time in between doing freelance work, where I'll go through some images on Google and I'll save them to my Dropbox just so that I have everything organized in one place. So the next thing I want to talk about is testing your work. Now that you've come up with a folder or Pinterest boards full of inspiration and reference images, and then you start to really create work, I want you to test your work. You know, ask for feedback. You know, I really like posting it on Facebook. So you could do that. You can post it on your personal Facebook if you have a lot of artist friends, or even if you don't have artist friends or creative friends. It's a good way to test it out on people who don't necessarily have that creative eye. Really, if like the average person can look at something and like it, then you've got something, right? And you can also ask other artist peers or industry experts if you feel comfortable doing that. If you are in the business of selling art, research different target audiences to see what demographic gravitates towards your art. So important that you do the research. You don't want to just create a body of work and then feel like nobody's responding. Maybe it's not what people are interested in. So thinking about style and color, themes, and different categories, maybe researching what's trending, what people like. So just follow that and see what you come up with. So the best advice I actually got when I was a younger artist was to always work on multiple pieces of work at a time. Why do we need to do that? So you don't get attached to one piece of work. As artists, we get really emotionally attached. The best way is to create a whole body work. Sometimes when I create digital patterns, I create 5 to 8 of them at a time, creating like templates or patterns. You know, I want to keep the creative juices flowing. I want to make sure that body of work, while I'm in that dedicated time and space to actually work on a consistent body of work, whether that's creating the same color, similar pattern, or a style. And I want to make sure I create work that all match and belong together. And it's nice. It's nice to look at work that all match, have like a theme. It's easier for people to start liking your work, to start seeing your work as a collection. And so this is what I leave you with. I have a free branding workbook that you can get for free on my site, thegypsygoddess.com. Just head over there. So it's like a 10-page branding workbook. It goes through some of the stuff we talked about here, which is your brand story, figuring out what your brand story is, your brand strategy, I even break it down and ask you a few different questions on how to find your brand, what's important to you, what makes you unique. Visit my site, check it out. And so also the next video in this series is how to set up an artboard in Photoshop, how to create an artboard and how to create an inspiration board in Photoshop, and how to organize your artwork and to come up with really quick concepts. So I'm going to go into depth in the next video. So stay tuned. And if you like this video and want to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know if you have any feedback, anything that you want to learn more about. I'm always open to suggestions. I'll see you next time. Bye.